Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to that channel, because that channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. I'm excited, folks. I'm really excited. I haven't been this excited for an Indian pen in some time. And you know what? I think that there's several companies that I really admire that manufacture pens in India, and one of them is Lotus. Lotus never really disappoints, and I recently received two pens that I want to review. We're going to review this first one in this review, which is just magnificent writing instrument. Now, I've got to tell you, I'm basing that preliminary opinion on just the looks of that pen and the hardware that it's hiding under that cap. I have not tried it yet. I've not inked it, nor have I written with it. So it's going to be a big surprise, and I'm just hoping that the writing experience is going to be as good as what it looks like it will be. So without any further ado, I am so excited to present to you the Lotus Titan. Okay, so here is the pen, folks. Here is the pen, folks. It comes in this just a wrapped sort of cardboard box, but inside that box is this beautiful wooden chest of sort, handcrafted in India, Lotus. Little latch that opens up to reveal. This is what's inside. The pen is in this beautiful leather case, very nicely done. It comes with a cloth to clean the pen. There's nothing underneath this bed, so we'll put that box aside. And here's the leather pouch or casing or case, and here's the pen. So we take out the pen. That's your first look, folks. Titanium, the Titan Lotus, very beautiful resin, very nice. It's got some definite weight to it, folks, and substance. The finial is flat on both ends. So here's that Lotus clip with the name there, and of course the little branding of Lotus right there, the logo. On the center band, it's Lotus Titan with the branding as well. I'm assuming that this material, both on the center band and the clip, is titanium to match what's waiting for us underneath. Design, it's pretty original. Kind of reminds me of another pen, and we'll take a look at that in the pen comparison, but there's really no comparison in terms of size. But just the general gist of having a short barrel appear with a longer cap. But it opens up in, let me see how many turns. That's one and a half, two and a quarter turns. We'll put that aside, but look what it reveals, folks. Isn't that exciting? I mean, I am absolutely excited to see this Lotus Titanium integrated nib. There it is, folks. I'm just hoping that it's Titanesque in writing as much as it is in looks. This is, I'm not sure if there's a, I believe, oh, there it is. There's a little M right there. So it's a medium. I'm glad it's a medium. What I want to do is take a look at, actually, before we do that, I omitted a couple of things. First of all, it is a cartridge converter, so this integrated nib unscrews right here. So it is resin to metal, and you have a standard Schmidt converter, which should work fairly well. There's no O-ring there, but it is quite securely screwed on, so I don't see this unscrewing by accident in any way. What about the cap? Let's just take a look inside the cap to see what we see. Difficult because it's quite deep. It's difficult for me to get a view of what's all the way on there. Well, yes, there's a little step down right there. So this should in fact, and there's a complete sleeve in there. So it should, in my opinion, be okay in terms of drying issues. So there is essentially, I think we've covered the pen. On the outside, I'm really curious to see how it writes. But before we do that, why don't we kind of do a comparison? So let me pull out some pens that I think I want to compare it with, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back with a pen comparison. Now, I didn't want to compare the pens with their outside shell. I think what's really interesting in terms of comparison is to see, these are my, and again, they're not hooded nibs, but there's, they're an integrated nib, an inlaid nib. Then you've got, this particular tubular nib from Schaefer. Look, we're not going to get, involved in semantics and what nib is referred to, but generally speaking, we're talking about these very unique shaped nibs and how they write and how they perform. The Edson to date is probably my favorite, and it's funny because I had not received this pen before I published my recent video on kind of an inlaid nib challenge where I compared the Karen, the Legacy 2, and the Edison. And several people mentioned that I should have included the Pilot E95S. And some people also talked about the Imperial. This is the Imperial, this is the Waterman Edson, this is the Legacy 2. This is an old Schaefer vintage pen. The subject pen, the Koran is here, and of course E95S. This is what I meant earlier, that in terms of a similar kind of a design, except this is screw in and the other one is just capped, is this kind of design where you have a very short barrel but a longer cap. But that's where the comparisons, I think, end. For those of you who saw my review on inlaid nibs and my recap that kind of revisit that, that I'm not, I think this one is, I think it's overrated, but that's just my opinion, and I know it's far from being unanimous. In fact, quite the contrary. People are really like this pen. But there you have the comparison. Now, we could do a capping, a posting comparison. And in that regard, does this pen post? Yes, it does. It posts quite deeply, actually, and comfortable. there's some weight there, but it's not to the point where it's totally uncomfortable. The problem, of course, is that that nib is huge. So how low do you go down? The lower you go down, the more this becomes a little bit back-weighted. But let me tell you, it's just a great feeling in your hands. You definitely have in your hands a Titan. No doubt about that. So that's, and I think we should compare it to some of these pens when it comes to capping or posting. Actually, let me post all these pens so we won't waste time on live. I'll post them and be right back. Okay, so here are the pens posted, and you can definitely see that the Lotus is just a little bit bigger than the Edson. But the major difference, I think, is this nib, and we'll see how it all works out in your hands. But there you have it. Yeah, you know what? Close to the Edson. Just, a little bit bigger, as you can see. Well, a little bit, substantially bigger, because you got the whole front tip of that nib that is sticking out there. So there you have it. I know there's other pens that have made, I think Eureka has come out with a kind of a tubular integrated nib like this. Sean Design may have one, I forget. But I don't own those pens, but I sure as hell now own this Lotus, and I'm really excited. So we're going to do some measurements. I'm going to put some measurements up, and then we're going to finally try to hopefully be very, very pleased with the writing sample. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. I'm excited for the writing sample. Now, first the ink. It does have a brown tint, that resin does, with some gold flecks. I could have put in, a kind of a brown-based ink, but the camera doesn't do justice. But live, anyway, I kind of see a kind of a purplish tint behind this brown, which led me to believe that maybe the choice should be this Yamabudo ink, which is one of my favorites these days. So I'm going to go with the Yamabudo, even if it's not a perfect match. In terms of paper, these days I'm just excited about this Crenna Chinese paper, which is so it just gives me the same writing pleasure as Tomoe River paper, or the original number 7 machined Tomoe River. So we're going to go with that. Okay, now let's open up the pen. I'm not going to post it. I just don't post my pens, and as you can see, even unposted, it's quite a Titan, as they say. What I perceive to be one of the issues for me, anyways, to see how I react to that nib, because I'm not used to seeing that kind of a nib in my fingers. But we'll take it from here. So let's just see. I'm going to be quiet and let the writing do its job. Wow. So smooth and wet. I had trouble controlling it there. So that is the Lotus Titan. It has an integrated nib, actually integrated titanium. And it's a medium. Very unique. Smoothness. Ten on 10. No real feedback. Just a touch. In terms of wetness, Well, folks, I gotta tell you, for a medium nib, it's very, very wet. A nice, thick, juicy medium line, I must say. In terms of bounce, as one would suspect, it's fairly stiff. I think this type of nib is not meant to have any real bounce. I have a similar writing experience with my Edson, my Karen, Legacy, slight bouncy, slight more softness to it, but generally speaking, these type of nibs, you can't really expect to have any bounce in them, per se. In terms of consistency, and by that I mean flow. Let me tell you, folks, there is no problem with anywhere and how you want to play around with this nib. There is really no issue of consistency. Fast writing, wow, I am really pleased. You know, when I saw this nib, I said, Jesus, I hope it's not going to turn out to be a scratchy writing experience. You know, you take a look at that nib, but no, it's got a nice tip. It's really, really juicy. Wow, I am so, so pleased. Lotus, you've done it again. Where are we? Consistency, yeah, reverse writing, just as smooth, and doesn't miss a beat, and maybe just a fine, not even a fine, it's a fine medium. Writes very, very well. So you can write with this pen literally on the reverse side or on its main side. Isn't that amazing? Wow. So we have the reverse writing is done. Okay, so let's look. I've capped a pen or posted a pen just to see how it works out. Likes and dislikes. Likes, the design is quite original. The build quality is excellent, as usual with Lotus pens. The nib is spectacular. And whether it's a go-to pen, absolutely. This pen will not miss a beat. Now, dislikes. The posting may, to some people, be back-weighted in the sense that long nib, if you have a tendency to hold your pen a little higher up, it's not bad, but then you get a very long nib. If you go further down, there's just a little bit uncomfort there, but not for me because I have bigger hands, but somebody else smaller hands. My suggestion is that you write with this pen unposted, posting back, and that's it. I mean, it does have Pelican M1000 tendencies. Let me explain. In other words, it kind of writes on its own, folks, which for me anyway, it's a great advantage because look how thick the lines are. Look how wet and juicy and smooth. But the pen is so smooth, a little bit like M1000, that it just jogs along by itself. And some people may not be able to control it. I certainly love that feeling. So my review is I'm giving this 10 on 10. Just fabulous. Lotus, you have done it once again. This pen is going to be, it really is, let me just cut. It really is a shame that I wasn't able, or I did not have this pen in my possession at the time that I did the inlaid nib comparison, because let me tell you, there would be a real fight here, or battle, between this one and the Edson. I gotta tell you, and the Legacy 2. I maybe reserve that comparison for a later date. I do want to write with this pen a little while longer, but it is quickly becoming one of my favorite pens. I've got to tell you, I am very enthusiastic about it. The Lotus Titan, a real Titan, folks. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that. Take a look at the pen. It's you can see it. You can find it on the Lotus pen site. I don't know if any other vendors sell this pen. I will put the website in the description. Take a look at it. All the details are there. And wow, if you're going to invest in a pen and you're thinking about getting something unique with a wonderful nib, this is it, folks. This is it, folks. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that review. And folks, enjoy your pens, enjoy your paper, enjoy your inks. And it's fountain pen therapy for all of us, especially with this Titan. Take care.